So can you explain me why you came here in Adelaide with this group?
So the reason that I'm here is I want to expand the thoughts and the ideas of how to help a person in distress. And as my background is in voice hearers work, and I come to this conclusion that not all voice hearers are getting any help or getting any better by working with their voices. So we need alternatives, and just listening is surely one of those. It could be very good to give voice hearers in distress some possibilities to talk about how they feel and what's going on in their life. And the concept of not disrupting a conversation or a monologue, I find it quite overwhelming. And
what's your personal story? What parallelism can we do between what you hear here, what you exchange here, and your personal story?
Yeah, I think the way that the main differences that happened in my life that I was moving towards more recovery was people actually willing to talk to me about my experiences with hearing voices, and they listened to my answers, and they didn't try and push an agenda towards me. And so when I met some professionals working with voice hearers, and they start asking me questions like, how many voices do you hear? And I was always been told in psychiatry that whatever you do, don't talk about the voices. Don't try and make them more active or more demeaning or dominant or aggressive. So I've been told all the time that don't talk about it. Put some music in your ears or watch a movie or do something to distract yourself from the voices. And then you suddenly meet persons who are interested in hearing more. And just by asking these relatively simple questions, I began talking a lot about my experiences. And in that sense, the just listening approach resembles very, very nicely to that.
What did say your voices?
Or what they say?
Yeah.
It's a quite personal question. And when I talk to other voice hearers or regarding myself, most voice hearers will translate a little bit of what they say. So I won't say directly what my voices are saying, because for you it could sound negative or aggressive, and I don't think that's the purpose of my voices. Then my voices would say something like, "Oh, kill him," and so if I had to say that out loud, "Oh, I want to kill you," it has nothing to do with that. The reason my voice is telling me is because you're pushing me too hard. So what my voices are saying, I would much rather talk about what do my voices try to tell me. So what are they trying to help me with? How are they trying to make me express myself clearer or better? Yeah. But I had 3 voices, now I only have 2. And one of them, a female, I think she's in her 50s or in her 60s, she talks a lot about people around me. And the way that she does it is trying to figure out something that's wrong, something that you did wrong, the way you behave, little signs of what's not right about you. And the reason that she does it is to say, well, if everybody else in this room isn't perfect, then I don't have to be perfect. So perhaps it sounds harsh or negative if I told you directly what she was saying, but the meaning of it is that I can put my shoulders down, just relax. You don't have to be perfect in this conversation. So, and she's very active right now because of the camera. I tend to think that I have to perform perfectly, which I can't. So she's there to just calm me down a bit. Yeah. My other voice, which is also active right now, he's talking about if I don't explain myself correctly, you'll misunderstand what I'm saying. So he's the words that he's using and the sentences are very directed at me. Oh, you didn't do this quite well enough. You should do it much better. You're an idiot. You're a moron. You're a bastard. Stuff like that. And most of all, because the reason that he's saying it is because I'm nervous that I'll say something that gets misinterpreted. I've heard voices now for 23 years, and it becomes normal. It comes every day. Of course, there's sometimes when if my voices start whispering, it's very hard to hear. So I have a tendency. My voices come mostly from the right. So if they start whisper, I'll move just trying to grasp what they're saying. So when they are whispering, it's harder to be in a conversation with you. The same happens when they're yelling. If they're really agitated and loud speaking, it could be harder to listen to the conversation that we're having.
You talk about gift. Would you say that you need your visions and voices today?
No, I don't need them, but it's very nice to have. I couldn't imagine being here without them, because they're a big part of my life, and it's nice to have these guidelines. Like if I'm seeing a lot of visions and voices are talking a lot, it means that there are many issues in my life to help me determine, is my life going all right now?
Would you say that you are proud of your voices?
Yeah.
Visions?
Yeah, I'm really proud of my voices, because I think if you met me 20 years ago or 10 years ago and we were having this conversation, I would say that I'm very afraid of my voices. They're causing a lot of trouble in my life, and they're controlling it. They're very negative. I'll tell many stories about the limitations that my voices set me. And today, because I reacted, I connected with them, I think I have a very full life and full of opportunities, and there's no limitations left, only guidance.
You hope they don't leave?
Yeah. 6 months ago, one of my voices said that was it, and he left. But since then, the voices are still there, and I really, really don't hope that they will disappear, all of them, because I think they're my friends. They're the ones who knows me the best. They're the ones who want to make sure that I'm the best version of me. Yeah.
Why did the first time people talk to you about your voices and describe me, these voices and how this work, why did it help you to talk for the first time about what you heard?
Yeah. So first of all, this social worker started talking to me about my voices and asking these questions. My first response to her questions was, I don't know. And the reason that I answered I don't know is because I actually didn't know. Nobody has ever asked me these questions before, and suddenly I had to sit back and actually listen. Oh, what is this a male voice? Does it sound like a male or female? And these observations, I never did it before. So by asking these questions, it forced me to actually listen to what the voices were saying. And I think that was the first little step in the progress of trying to listen, trying to comprehend and understand what they were talking about. So yeah, there were a lot of other steps in the progress, but I think one of the main ones was that I attended a voice hearers group. So I attended a voice hearer group, and we saw this movie about a voice hearer in a 4-year period. There were some times that she was doing okay, and sometimes she had a really tough time. And then this voice hearer came and presented her movie at this building. And afterwards the movie, she came to the stage, and she was alive. She was moving. There were life in her eyes, and she was very good at answering questions and just being in the room. And at that moment, I was sitting with the audience, and I looked up and said, I don't want to be like me anymore. I want to be like her. I want to do whatever she's doing. And that just gave me hope and pushed me a lot forward to trying to accept that I heard voices.
Mm-hmm. And now you are an example
Yeah.
for others. It's,
Yeah.
it's your job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Can you explain us what you do exactly?
What I do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you help the others?
Yeah. Well, I facilitate a voice hearer group where it's a place where you can talk about both about what are the voices saying and how does it affect your life. And I try to make it into a place where everything is okay. There's nothing that's off limit. Because a lot of voice hearers or people in psychiatry have this feeling that they're restrained, that there are all these limits of what you can talk about and what you can't. So that's one of the things that I do. Then I educate people in how to address and work with voices. How can you make the relationship between the voice hearer and the voice better? And my main thoughts these days are a lot of voice hearers feel very, very alone. Many say that the way my voice behaves and talks is the only one in the whole world that does that. And I'm pretty sure that's right, but there are similarities. There are a lot of things that resembles another voice. And so my wife and I, we made this construct that there are some archetypical voices that resembles each other. So there are voices that are saying pretty much the same things it's the same triggers that makes them talk. So there are similarities. So whenever you thought that you were completely alone and the way that the voices addressed you were very unique, perhaps they're not. So instead of feeling all alone, you'll probably meet up with a bunch of people who has some of the same experiences. So I really try to facilitate the idea of that you're not alone. And with professionals, I try to give them a sense of it's not that weird. It's quite normal that, let's say, if you've been bullied at school and you have a voice that's very critical towards you, that connects. The reason that you hear a voice that's aggressive toward you and the meaning is that you were bullied early in your life. So we have these, 10 or 15 types that we meet over and over again. And it's a nice way to talk about it. You can distance yourself a bit from your voices and, not feeling alone.
I heard the word love in the sessions.
Yeah.
I think Max, think that it's a word you can use for describing the relationship between the caretaker and the voice hearer or other troubles. Do you use this word?
No, not directly like that. But the thing is, the relationship between the social worker and the voice hearer, for example, the voices won't talk to you or react with you if they don't feel appreciated, if they don't feel welcome. So in that sense, I do understand the word love. It makes sense. And I met some social workers that I didn't connect with at all. And when they try to approach my issues or problems in life, I told them to back off. I wouldn't allow them in my inner life. So yeah, we could talk about buying groceries or something practical, but when it came to feelings, I would distance myself from them. And then I met other professionals who had the completely opposite impact on me, and I really wanted to share my life. I want to share my thoughts and feelings, and I think that is love.
Empathy. Maybe.
Yeah. Because you can't feel the empathy from another person. You won't tell them anything.
For you, love, empathy, this relationship, this humanity is the key. It's more efficient than medicines or hospitalization or anything else.
I never thought the concept of being hospitalized would help you get better. I'm talking a lot with this voice hearer who was presented with a pill, and she said, "Yes, I will take this medication if it removes the traumas from my life." And the doctor said, "Well, that's not possible. We cannot remove your traumas. Then why are you giving me the pill to do exactly the same thing?" So I think it's the compassion, it's the empathy, it's the love between persons that makes the big difference. It's all about relationship.
Patrick and his team told me usually 60% of voice hearers respond to these medicines. It can be useful for them. It doesn't make trauma disappear, of course, but it can help them in their life. What's your opinion?
My opinion is, well, now you said 60% have had an effect from it. And I think, there's an effect. I had a lot of medicine. I don't anymore. And when I took the medicine, well, it made me able to sleep, because that was a really big issue. So I got so tired that I slept, which was a good thing, you could say, instead of not sleeping. The other effect that I started not caring about listening to voices, which also, if you wanted to have that approach, it's a good thing. If I wanted to distract myself from hearing voices. But the thing is, it also stopped me from feelings. So I didn't feel love, I didn't feel hate, I didn't feel happy or sad or anything else. It took that away too. So if the purpose is to feel nothing, I think the medicine works more than 60%. If you're talking about helping, that's the wrong word, but trying to ease down the voices, I would reckon about 5%. And then there's about 50%, perhaps 50%. If you're trying to help me, and you say, "Oh, I really want to help you, I got this pill for you." And then I'll take it, and you will ask me again, "Oh, did it work?" Well, I'm so happy that you're trying to help me that I'll say yes, even though it didn't work at all. So there's something about the authorities in medical healthcare that is twisted and makes these constellations of help very unprecise, I think. But it's very few people that I meet that has any effect from medicine other than the voices saying, don't eat it, it's not good for you. Because the voices are also at the conversation with the doctor when the doctor says, if you take this pill, it will remove your voices. And if, for example, my example before about my female voice trying to help me understand that I don't have to be perfect, if I took the pill in my mouth, that meant I'd have to be perfect because the voices and their meaning were put aside, and now I have to be this perfect person. It's impossible. So of course the voices would say, don't eat it. We're really trying to help you. And by eating that pill, you're denying us the ability to help. So many voices really don't like voice hearers taking pills.
Last question.
The last question is third time.
Yeah, sorry. So interesting. Maybe some people will watch the documentary and they're alone. They don't know this kind of taking care, these tools. Maybe you can address them a message.
Yeah, I have many advices for people hearing voices who are alone and not able to reach out for help. One of the things is you are not alone. There are very many voice hearers all over the world, and there is a possibility that if you want to talk about it, if you want to try and meet up with other people who hear voices too, you'll figure it out. You're not alone in this world. If you think that your voices are mean or evil, perhaps you should meet up with someone to talk about that. Because for many voice hearers, there's a underlying reason why you hear those voices. And if you can figure that out, perhaps you could have a better relation to your voices and thereby having a better life.
Thank you very much, Michael.
Okay.